referendum on Trump in Canada. Apparently, 6 weeks ago, Trudeau's party was absolutely in the crapper. And then the more that Trump made noises that, Canada should be the 51st state. You're being rude. Should be the 51st state. He was actually tweeting out, you should vote for me. Canadians should vote for Trump to be their president of the 51st state. Probably not tweeting it, whatever that, oh gosh, I've just lost the name of the thing. What's the name of that? No, the new Alibaba, but on an app. What's the Alibaba on your app called? That terrible Temu. He has Temu Twitter. Whatever his thing is Temu Twitter. So he was putting out on Temu Twitter, that they should vote for him to be their president. That within a space of literally weeks, the world just turned back to Trudeau's party and the left, and it's the result they've had tonight.
Let's head to Canada now, where Mark Carney's Liberal Party has done what just weeks ago many would have thought impossible and won the election. It's a remarkable reversal in fortunes for Justin Trudeau's successor, who many believe owes his win to Donald Trump after a surge in Canadian anger towards the US. Senior correspondent Lisette Raymer reports.
Midnight celebrations for Mark Carney. The anti-Trump now with Trump to thank, by polite Canadian standards at least, for this stunning political comeback.
President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. Shame. That will never, ever happen.
The 60-year-old riding a surge in nationalism to victory.
We have, in fact, called a Liberal government with Mark Carney as Canada's 24th Prime Minister.
It's a result that appeared impossible just a month ago. A decade under Justin Trudeau had Liberal lethargy peaking, and the Conservatives were cruising into power.
Who's voting for change?
But within just weeks, a sewn-up election was unpicked. The left got a new leader, and the right hit trouble with Trump, the third man of Canadian politics.
Canada should honestly become our 51st state.
The US president has dominated the election without even being on the ballot. Even as voting began today, he took to Truth Social to claim the border between the two nations is artificially drawn and urged Canadians to elect a man who has strength and wisdom to make...
What does he mean? Artificially drawn? What, like every border of every country in the world? Artificially drawn. He is a very stupid man. I mean, he is a very stupid man.
Canada, the cherished 51st state of America. The Trump factor has proven to be Carney's trump card.
Thank you.
Casting his own ballot under a sombre cloud today, his campaigning was cut short by the recent car ramming tragedy in Vancouver, attending a vigil for the victims on election eve. But the former governor of the Bank of Canada has pledged to stand up to Washington and fight back.
We have to look out for ourselves. And above all, we have to take care of each other.
His opposition, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, has often been compared to Trump and pushed a Canada First slogan.
There are these political figures around the world who have been doing, just think about in New Zealand, these political figures. You imagine if, the kind of make New Zealand great again, that thing was being said now. It seemed to help them when they used it, because there was that Trumpian vibe. I wonder, though, the next election, hopefully they're not smart enough to look at things like this and go, this hasn't helped these guys at all. In fact, it's probably harmed them. So, the more David Seymour and Winston Peters get into that, I guess the difference is here they only need 5%, don't they? And that Trumpian vote's always going to get at least 5%. So I guess we shall see.
Often been compared to Trump and pushed a Canada First slogan.
All right, everyone, get out to vote.
Appealing to the portion of his base who are proud Trump fans.
Mark Carney, if we get him, we're done.
You're dead.
Yeah, you're dead, yeah. We'll be a third world country.
But for most, Canada's meddling neighbour is too risky, and Poilievre's grand advantage as the candidate of change collapsed in staggering fashion. The sudden need for voters to defend their sovereignty, enough to flip their favour.
I mean, how could you not be changed by someone threatening your country?
When you put a clown in a palace, it doesn't make him king. It makes the palace a circus.
He's brought Canadians together.
Oh, that's a good line.
I see it as a very positive effect.
It's not yet known if Carney has won a majority government, but Canadians are clearly rallying around the flag with their vote.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds so stupid to say it out loud because you kind of want to go, well, of course, the Trump influence won't help somebody. But it seems that has helped people for the last little while. And now the seas are turning. Is that right? The tide's turning, the weather's turning. It's all turning at the moment, apparently.
I think it's a lesson if people are wanting to pay attention to it. Like, I think a lot of people have seen what has happened in the US with Trump as this is a blueprint of how to do it in my own country. But the system's completely different. The culture is completely different. The way they vote, everything is completely different. And I think if you're from another country and you want to just draw a straight line between you and a political figure in another country, like you take the good with the bad. Like there's a lot. Do you think that that's going to have the numbers to carry you?
It probably echoes that thing when we were talking about crime a few weeks ago. And when I was on Talkback, people always used to talk about the results of Singapore. And the point was, you can't get the results of Singapore when it comes to crime stats unless you bring the whole society and run your whole society like Singapore. So what you're saying is probably the same. You know, to get the bounce that you might think Trump will give you, you sort of need to be another America, which on some hand, Canada is probably the closest thing to that, but obviously not close enough.
And I think it needs to be like if Trump just kept his policies within America and didn't take a swipe at Canada, like that was the poison chalice at that point. Like it was too late to change tack. It was too late to try and undo all of the things he said. Like they lifted his slogan fucking wholesale. Yeah. Let's make Canada great again. It's just bizarre. It is such a drubbing that conservative candidate isn't even winning his own seat.
Yeah.
He is potentially gone from government. It's like, is there a greater message? And I hope that will be transferred into Australia's election as well with Dutton. Like there are attack ads against Dutton running on major networks in Australia at the moment that just say Dutton wants Australia to be just like America. They're not elaborating on that. They're letting people's mind do all of the heavy lifting on that slogan.
Well, there's news tonight as well about how I just put in Australian election polls, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to get, but I'll just click on the first one, which is the Guardian, which is Australians are running from the American brand, like the world is. Number of tourists are way down. I mean, I showed that clip last week about, it's only just one business, but that YouTuber Jazza, who's nearly going back. Well, I don't know if he's going bankrupt, but they're having to lay people off because of the tariffs are making it impossible to sell his product into America. It's too expensive, and that's how they kind of partly fund their YouTube channel. So that's happening all over the place. So it's like, why would people today associate themselves with such a toxic brand? Yet some people still think it's the golden chalice. There you go. Labor between 49.5 and 53. Coalition between 47 and 50.5. I'm assuming the red Labor. Two-party preferred primary votes. I guess that's the Conservatives. The Coalition's still up there, but I'm guessing if you join some of these parties together, like the Greens and them, that's where you get to your increase.
So, talking to my brother-in-law who's from Australia, he is saying that he is seeing with his friend group and the people that he talks to a big swing away from the two major parties in Australia to independents. So they're picking up a lot of votes there of people that are like, well, I don't like the Liberals, and Labor are just like liberal light.
Yeah.
They're all kind of pulling in the same direction with slight variations. And that's a lot of the criticism that you'll see here with our two major parties. But of course, we have the benefit of MMP.
Yeah.
So our independent or third parties and that sort of thing have a lot more relevance compared to the absolute no chance that they have in the US. So that kind of sometimes have an effect in Australia.
So here's what you're saying as well. Support for Labor has declined. Support for the coalition has declined. Support for the Greens has increased. Support for others have increased. So it's got the Greens up as high as 14.1%. And the others up as high as nearly 25%. So that's nearly maximum of nearly 40% of the vote in other, is what you're saying.
What I would like to know is how much effect has Juice Media had on this? Like, you know what I'm talking about with the honest political ads from Australia? No. Okay, so there's been a YouTube channel for a long time doing like fake government announcements and that sort of thing, just running through major issues with a heavily sarcastic tone. But a big chunk of what they've been doing over the last almost 2 years is just referring to Labor and the Liberals as shit and shit light as the names of the parties. And just going, well, look, if they're basically going to do the same thing as anybody else, why not vote for an independent? And they have been hammering that message for 2 years. And I think this is the first time that we've seen that it might be actually having an effect. Their viewership has gone up massively in that time. So, yeah, I think if that's what they're saying, then they should take a victory lap.
And of course, 21 years ago, Chewie, right? 21 years ago, a certain other group was saying that exact message.
A shit sandwich and a giant douche.
If you haven't seen that episode of South Park Whānau, look up Giant Douche and Turd Sandwich. And basically, these are the proposed mascots for the elementary school. And the kids have to vote for either a giant douche or a turd sandwich. And of course, it might be Kyle, one of the main characters, wants to give up on voting because what's the point? And the end of the whole episode ends with him doing a monologue, which is basically, I guess it's always been that we either vote for a giant douche and a turd sandwich. So it's actually exactly what you're saying, Chewie, just over 2 decades ago from the brilliant creators of South Park.
And to bring it all back home to New Zealand, those lessons are there to be learnt by our parties as well. Like, we talk about our independence and that sort of thing. We talk about Labor needing to distance themselves from their major opposition in National. Like, I don't want to see just, oh, well, we're just slightly to the left of centre. I'm just slightly to the right of centre, because you're just getting dragged right. That's what's happening. You're getting dragged right.
Oh, I think the one difference we do have here is the Greens. I think in theory, Labor can sit centre left, and they can sit in those places that maybe some of us, many of us watching perhaps, mightn't be our comfortablest place to vote. But then there's the Greens. And as we've seen with this, if the Greens do it right, as we've seen with this election, the Greens will have, maybe Te Pāti Māori in a 3-way, will have the power to be able to get a whole bunch of stuff through, just like ACT New Zealand first have, by dragging Labor left.
Yeah. So is that the lesson that's going to be learned? Are Greens and Te Pāti Māori going to see the enormous amount of power that they could wield? Is it a case of Luxon was just an incredibly shit negotiator and just went, yep, sure, whatever you want. I just want to get my polo shirt with my name on it and Prime Minister underneath that I can keep and put it in the pool room once I'm done. Or have they been too soft in putting forward what they want? Are they just happy to be included? Or are they going, these are red line issues for us? We saw what David Seymour and Winston Peters got given. That was the golden goose for them, and they had like under 10%.
Yeah.
We've got more than that. Give it to us.